The boy looked up at the towering skyscraper, his reflection a mere speck on one of the windows many stories up. His stomach growled, reminding him of the gnawing hunger he'd been ignoring. Another failed audition. Another slammed door in his face. With no money for food, he started to walk away, his shoulders slumped, his dreams crumbling like the stale bread he'd been chewing on. At that moment, amidst the cacophony of the city, the boy thought, "Is it all worth it? Will my efforts ever pay off?" He remembered a time before the gnawing hunger, a time when his dad was alive and his mom had a hopeful sparkle in her eyes. He remembered the day his world shattered, a flashback, a memory that both warmed and tore his heart. He was 10 years old, skinny and wiry with a mop of unruly hair. He stood beside his dad, a construction worker with dirt under his fingernails and calluses on his hands, his face creased with a lifetime of smiles and hard work. They were building something great together, brick by brick, hope by hope. "You're a natural champ," his dad had said, ruffling his hair. "One day you'll build your own empire." But empires don't last forever. The flashback ended and the boy winced, the memory still so vivid, the pain still so raw. His dad had died in an accident, leaving his mum to fend for him and his younger sister. She was only 6. He had to help his mum. So at 14, he dropped out of school to work. No one understood his dreams. They just saw a skinny, scrappy kid who couldn't even land a proper job. He was 17 now, and his resume was filled with odd jobs, none of them lasting long. People called him a quitter. Even his mom worried, "When will you settle down and get a real job?" But he knew his worth. He just needed one chance. Then came the opportunity, an acting class. It was his big chance, a shot at a life beyond the one dealt to him. He could finally tell people his name, not just that skinny guy. He could show them what he was made of. The problem was, he had no money. Acting classes weren't cheap. He had to work extra jobs to make ends meet. He waited tables, delivered newspapers, and did odd jobs. Finally, he had enough. But after the first class, his hopes were dashed. "You're too skinny. You won't make it as an actor," said the instructor, breaking his dream with one sentence. But the boy refused to give up. "One more try," he muttered, signing up for class after class, audition after audition. He kept trying, but the rejections piled up, each one a fresh wound on his already battered spirit. The boy walked past his old school, the place where his classmates had jeered at him, at his worn-out shoes and patched-up clothes. He remembered the taunts. "Dirty, poor boy," they used to scream. But something inside him snapped. All the pain, the hunger, the endless rejections, it all fueled his determination. This was his moment. He would show them all. Years flew by. The boy became a man, his jaw set, his eyes blazing with a newfound fire. He'd worked odd jobs to pay his way through college, studying acting, honing his craft. He'd saved every penny, lived frugally, endured loneliness for his art. Then came his big break, a small role in a popular TV show. He made it big. But his struggles had forged him into someone special, someone who didn't back down. He went on to play leading roles in movies, winning hearts and accolades. And every time he stood on that stage, looked out at the cheering crowd, he remembered the skinny, hungry boy who refused to give up. Because that boy had a dream, and dreams, they say, do come true. He had finally made it. The once skinny boy with a dream had become the star of the biggest movie production ever made. Looking up at the building where he'd had his first audition, he smiled. "This is for you, Dad," he whispered, his voice hoarse with emotion. "Never give up. One more try. Your time is coming."